In this video, I will be discussing Program 12, which is my first program that involves prompting a user for input. It will make the programs going forward a little more interesting. This can be done pretty easily with a basic understanding of objects. If you have not heard of objects in programming, first watch my previous video called Introduction to Objects. Now let's take a look at how to use the scanner class to create an object that receives user input. There are many classes that are included with Java, such as the scanner class. To create a scanner object, first create a scanner variable, such as scanner s, and then use the scanner constructor to pass in the system.in input parameter. When using a class that is not in the same package, it must be imported. Eclipse makes importing a class easy by first underlining it in red. Simply click the class and select Import. You can also click Ctrl plus Shift plus O, and you will notice an import statement is added below the package name. Without getting into the details, we want to read user input. So if system.out is used for outputting information, we use system.in to read information. After this line of code, we now have a scanner object stored in the variable s. However, we still need to do something to get the user input. Recall, methods are part of a class or object that does something. So what methods do we use to get the user input? Well, the best thing to do when learning about a new Java class is to look at the documentation. In Google, search Java Scanner class. Usually the best documentation is from the Oracle Help Center. Going through this documentation quickly, I want to point out a few things. First, usually there is a general description or explanation on the class and examples of common uses. Within the first few lines, it already shows an example of how to create a scanner and read an integer. Next, if you scroll down further, you will notice the construction summary. It shows that the scanner class has several different constructors for initializing a scanner object. We will start with using a scanner that takes an input stream as an input parameter. This is because system.in is an input stream, which I plan to talk about in a future video. But you will notice the scanner object can also be constructed using the file class, which allows for some very cool things that I plan to discuss in a future video as well. Scrolling down further in the method summary, which shows all the methods available in the scanner class, each one has a link that can be clicked to provide more information on the method. For example, next double. The next double method says it scans the next token of the input as a double. This method will throw input mismatch exception if the next token cannot be translated into a valid double value. If the translation is successful, the scanner advances past the input that matched. And then it goes on to explain further information. But then it states that it returns the double scanned from the input. It also shows that it throws 3 exceptions, which are errors, and states when the error would happen. I plan to discuss exceptions and how to handle exceptions in a future video. There is a lot more documentation that can be looked at, but that's enough for now to continue. So if we go all the way back to the top of the documentation, we can copy this next line on how to grab an integer from the scanner and paste it into our main method. Now our scanner is stored in the variable s, so we just need to change this to s. And now let's add a system.out.println and add the value, the number provided was, and then I, which is where our integer is stored, and then end the line with a semicolon. Now before we run it, let's add a message for the user. So system.out.println, please enter a number. Control S to save, and then right click, run as Java application. Please enter a number, 10, and then press enter, and the number provided was 10. A quick note, you will notice that in Eclipse, the warning on the scanner says resource leak S is never closed. So a simple fix is to call the scanner.close method after all the scanning is complete. Technically, there are more correct ways to do this, which I plan to discuss in a future video, but this works for now. So that is all you need to know to complete the objective for Program 12. Let's take a look. The title for Program 12 is pounds 2 kilograms, and the objective is to create a program that asks a user for their weight in pounds and converts it into kilograms. First, prompt the user for their weight. Store the value in a variable pounds. Next, convert the user's weight to kilograms by dividing it by 2.21. Store the result in a variable called kilograms. And then lastly, output the user's weight in kilograms by displaying the variable kilograms. And so here's what the output should look like. Enter weight in pounds. The user enters, let's say 100, and then weight in kilograms equals 45.24 and so on. As always, to begin working on this program, first, create a new workspace for program 12 by following the instructions in my video with the title Create a New Programming Project, or watching the solution to program 2. To view additional materials and the solution code for this program, visit the Java in a Jiffy website at www.javainajiffy.com/programs/12. Once you have completed this program, watch my solution video where I discuss the solutions code and highlight any important concepts and techniques. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button. To help support this channel, please click the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.